I was being strictly controlled by the criminal gang associated with leading figures of the film and serial world. When the Hindu organization tried to save me from this gang, the gang members even tried to kill my father, hitting him with a vehicle. They burnt our house at Koilandi.
But my friends were like, in Islam, it's not permissible. You should be an introvert because you're a woman. Because you're a girl, you should be introvert. You should not talk to people unnecessarily. You should not talk to men. And um, if it is needed, also you should try your maximum to avoid talking with men. You shouldn't sing. You shouldn't laugh loudly. I was like literally in a cage. I was totally caged, and I was not at all given the freedom, at least to talk.
Do you know what I said to my mother? I was really angry and said that you kafirs will be definitely go to hell. What if you commit suicide or not? I'm not bothered.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Hey, namaste.
So all are here, and it is our pleasure and privilege to actually invite all of you to the program, Satyameva Jayate. As we have actually now moved forward actually a bit, I think actually we'll start with the Vidyaji's introduction, and then we'll take it forward.
Yeah, sure. Right. So, namaste. A very warm welcome to all here. This is our very first session for the new English year 2025. And we are so excited to introduce to you all not one, but three lovely speakers for today. Three full-time dedicated pracharaks of the Aarsha Vidyasamajam, Thiruvananthapuram. Please welcome Dr. Anagha Jayagopalan, Sridevi Shankar, and Sri Lakshmi. Absolutely lovely to have you three beautiful ladies on this platform of Satyameva Jayate on this auspicious occasion of Swami Vivekananda Jayanti, also known as National Youth Day. Starting with our first speaker, Dr. Anagha Jayagopalan. Anagha ji, who hails from a Brahmin family in Thiruvananthapuram, is a physiotherapist by profession. During the course of her higher studies, around 7 to 8 years ago, she was naturally drawn to Islam because of the influence of her college friends who followed Islam after they put forward several queries regarding certain Hindu rituals and customs for which Anaghaji was unable to provide satisfactory responses. This turned into confusion for her, and eventually she was brainwashed in such a manner that she wanted to become a true jihadist and help establish Islam everywhere. Anaghaji practiced Islam for 6 years and finally decided to convert in 2020. She was constantly told about the importance of ultimate sacrifice and jihad, the constant focus on giving up one's life for Allah to be given the highest position in heaven rang alarm bells for Anaghaji. In time, she was brought to Aarsha Vidyasamajam by her parents and her sisters. After several eye-opening debates with the founder, Sri Yogacharya K.R. Manoji, Anaghaji realized her folly and came back into the fold of Sanatana Dharma. She vowed to dedicate her life for the pracharana of Sanatana Dharma as an atonement for the hatred she had developed towards Sri Parameshwara, the great Guru Paramparas, and Sanatana Dharma. Currently, along with being a disciple of Acharya K.R. Manoji and a full-timer at Aarsha Vidyasamajam for the last 4 years, Anaghaji also heads the HR and academic departments of Aarsha Vidyasamajam. Anaghaji has also come on several platforms and TV channels, willingly sharing her tough experiences. Our second speaker for today is Sri Lakshmi ji, another lovely young lady who was being a student of architecture came under the deep influence of her school friends and peers to adopt radical Islamic ideologies. She became so fully involved that she changed her name to Khadija Sana, took to wearing the niqab, and became a hardcore advocate for jihad, so much so that she even challenged her parents that no one could ever bring her back to Sanatana Dharma. Thankfully for Sri Lakshmi ji, her father managed to introduce her to Aarsha Vidya Samajam so that she could get the answers to her questions about Islam and Sanatana Dharma. A few sessions of ideological debates with Acharya ji at AVS, and Sri Lakshmi ji underwent a transformation so profound that it got her to cast off her Islamic attire and ideology and helped her return to her roots in Sanatana Dharma. Now, at the tender age of 19, Sri Lakshmiji has dedicated herself to becoming a full-time Pracharak of AVS. She aims to promote Sanatana Dharma among youth and children through engaging animated videos, counseling, as well as social media platforms. Moving on to our third speaker, last but not the least for the day, Sri Ravishankar, who was also known as Sayonara Sajith, is a blessed and gifted singer who has won laurels for her school during the state school Kalotsava. Her ability to sing got her eventually connected to prominent figures in the television and film industry. Unfortunately for her, this also got her to come under the influence of criminal gangs connected to these prominent people. And she was quickly radicalized to Islam, so much so that Sridevi ji lost her interest in singing as it was considered haram in Islam. Sridevi ji suffered great personal losses when her house was set on fire, her education was disrupted, she faced several death threats as well as false cases filed against her, herself and her family. The eye-opening sessions of Adhyatmika Shastra course in AVS ensured Sridevi ji's return to Sanatana Dharma. She took to singing again and went on to join the bhajan team at AVS. Currently, along with being a disciple of Acharya Shri K.R. Manojji and a full-timer at aarshavidyasamajam, Sridevi ji has taken this stance with a fierce determination that no one else and no other family should have to face the kind of hardships that she and her family had to face. Sridevi ji's aim is to spread the greatness of Sanatana Dharma worldwide. Today, it is indeed an honor for us, Team Satyameva Jayate, to have the three of you, Anaghaji, Sri Lakshmiji, and Sri Devi ji, join us on this platform. We are so grateful to you and so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. The floor is all yours. Ravi ji, over to you.
Okay, wonderful introduction, Vidya ji, as always. Like we discussed, our program, the format is that our guests will present the matter, and afterwards, actually, we will go to the Q&A. And in this session, we have 3 guests, and we will go through them one by one. Anaghaji will go through her experience, and then Sulakshmi ji, like that, so on and so forth. And after that, we will take Q&A. Anaghaji, actually, you are ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, the mic is yours. Go ahead.
Om Nam Shivaya, Om Nam Gurubhyo Namah. A very good morning to one and all. First of all, I'm thanking the organizing team of Satyameva Jayate for giving us an opportunity to share our experiences with you. We 3 speak here on the behalf of aarshavidyasamajam and proudly serving as full-time members of this esteemed organization. We all know the specialty of January 12. Yes, it's the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. He is known for his contributions to the revival of Hinduism and his advocacy for universal brotherhood. And this day is celebrated as National Youth Day. We all know he is one of the country's most influential philosopher, spiritual leader, and social reformer, whose teachings on value of Sanatana Dharma, self-reliance, discipline, education, and national development have inspired generations of young people. Vivekananda's conviction that youth can influence the country's future is still relevant today. We are proud that on this day itself, we got an opportunity to talk about the activities of aarshavidyasamajam. Swami Vivekananda once said that if an individual converts to Semitic religions, it is not just one person is lost from us, but it also creates an additional enemy against our dharma, nation, culture, and knowledge. I'm someone who realized how true it is throughout my life. Before talking about my radicalization story, let me introduce myself. I'm Anagha, coming from Thrissur, Kerala. If I were to talk about my family background, I was born in a Orthodox Brahmin family. From a very young age itself, I was exposed to many rituals and customs. Even though I was born and brought up in a practicing Brahmin family, I didn't got any proper dharmic education. I was totally ignorant about my dharma, our nation's real history, and current affairs. Actually, I must say that this ignorance led me to the influence of Islam. My Islamic study started from my college days, that is at Ernakulam, and I was staying in a hostel there, and there were Hindus, Christians, Muslims in my room. And between the casual conversations, religion also became a topic among us. My Muslim friends asked many questions about the customs and rituals practiced by Hindus, the meaning of those practices and all. As I was unaware of those things, I kept silent. But I asked the same questions to my parents, and they also didn't have a proper answer to my questions. They simply said that just because our ancestors had done this, we are also following. That's all. Obviously, I was not satisfied with those answers. And my friends kept on asking me questions like, why do you have so many gods, so and so and so? I stood like a failure in front of them. And to find those answers, I started searching on social medias. Even from there, I didn't get any proper answers. And no one was there to properly guide me. So I thought that Hinduism is totally wrong and it is something man-made. And when I was in this confused state, my friends and colleagues started to tell me about Islam. They presented their religion in such a way that it is the only true religion existing. They told me about their God, that is Allah, Prophet Muhammad, Quran, etc. Since they are studying about their religion from childhood onwards in their madrasas, and on the other hand, I didn't get any proper religious or dharmic education, so they could easily influence and misguide me. Once they noticed that I was interested in Islamic studies, they started giving me the translations of Malayalam translation of Quran, that is a tafsirs, and they started showing videos of Islamic scholars like Zakir Naik, M.M. Akbar, and all. And also they shared me videos of converted persons from Hinduism. And I was slowly brainwashing to that ideology. They told me about how a woman should dress and behave in front of the society. They said that if I don't follow that, I'll be thrown to hell. They also explained me about the punishments in hell, and actually I was so scared to live as a non-Muslim. Gradually, I stopped wear bindi and started to dress like a Muslim woman. I stopped visiting temples and praying. It is said in Islam that the biggest sin is worshipping someone other than Allah. They call it as shirk. And those who do shirk are called mushriks and kafirs. Quran says that kafirs are the worst creatures on earth and no mercy should be shown towards them. It is also said that all other gods and their devotees will be sent to the hell. Just imagine how dangerous will be the mindset of such persons who believe that these are God's words. After 5 years of my Islamic studies, I totally became an anti-Hindu, anti-human mindset. They misguided me and made me against Hindu gods, Hindu organizations, everything. Even I hated the word Hindu itself. Not only Hindus, I hated all the non-Muslims. In Islam, it is said that bringing someone new to the religion is considered as the most holy thing that every Muslim must do. So I thought about converting my whole family. Initially, I tried to influence my younger sister, Amrita. And, she's a good dancer. And after my brainwashing, she decided to stop dancing because it is haram in Islam, no? And I was about 50% successful in converting her. And my Islamic studies went on. And in 2020, I decided that I want to get legally converted. So I quit my job and went home. And from that time itself, I was practicing namas and all. I went home and one day I told my parents that I believe that Islam is true religion and I want to live as a Muslim woman. Just imagine the situation. My parents were really shocked and obviously they were totally broken. They kept on praying, saying that please don't leave us and go. They were at the verge of suicide. While my father was doing puja downstairs, I used to perform namas upstairs. And once, when my mother saw me performing namas, she was really shocked. And she ran to the puja room and started crying and calling out, Narayana, Narayana, like that. I came downstairs hearing this, seeing the idols in the puja room. I was more angry and I yelled at her. The Narayanan whom you are calling is not going to protect you because there is no such God. My mother was more worried and she came to me crying and honestly, she fell down to my feet and said cryingly that please don't go away. If you go, the whole family will commit suicide. Do you know what I said to my mother? I was really angry and said that you kafirs will be definitely go to hell. What if you commit suicide or not? I'm not bothered. I was rude to them because they weren't ready to accept Islam. Because it is said in the Quran that you don't have to obey your non-Muslim parents and not even consider them as parents. Just imagine how dangerous it is if a whole community start practicing this kind of ideology. It was a time when my family's hope was shattered. At this time, some of the RSS activists came to know about me and they connected my parents with aarshavidyasamajam. And one day my cousin brother came to me and he told me that even if they don't have answers for my questions, there is a place where I can get all the answers, whether I was willing to come to that place or not. I told them I will come wherever because I was so confident that nobody could change my decision. And thus, I was brought to aarshavidyasamajam. Even at that time, I was overconfident that I could convert all the people in aarshavidyasamajam, including Acharya. And here I met Acharya Sri Manojji, my Sadguru, and the discussion started. Acharya started the conversation by saying that, Anagha, you don't have to blindly believe what we say. We will show all the proofs from the authentic text of Islam, that is Quran and Hadith. You just think using the intellect and logic given by God that whether these are God's words or not. And the debate was based on the principles of Tarka Shastra. And the ideology that I was carrying in my head for the past 6 years was proven wrong just within 3 hours by Acharya. And I left Islam that moment itself. I could come back to Sanatana Dharma through the Adhyatmika Shastram and Sudarshanam course, which include the study of Sanatana Dharma and comparative study of religions. After attending the courses, I understood what the real Sanatana Dharma is and what is the real face of Islam. The things like love jihad, forceful conversions, etc., which I believed was the agenda of some Hindu organization, I understood that they were real facts. Deciding that no person or no family should go through the pain that my family and I experienced, I chose to become a full-timer in Aarsha Samajam. Now it's been 4 years since I'm a part of Aarsha Samajam. Not only me, my 2 sisters, elder sister Anusha and younger sister Amrita, we 3 are now full-timers of Aarsha Samajam. That's a small introduction about me. We have shared our experiences in detail in YouTube videos. So I summarize in it.
Definitely. It's actually sometimes it is very heart-wrenching what the family has to endure during this conversion process, and we hear that from most of the people who have shared their experience. It's more or less the same. What happens to the family, especially, even though the way in which actually the people are converted are different, the trauma that goes through by the family is more or less the same. Sri Lakshmi, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Next, actually, we'll hear Sri Lakshmi. Go ahead.
So namaste. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Sri Lakshmi, and I'm coming from Thrissur. So to talk about my family background, I was born and brought up in a typical Hindu family. So and from childhood itself, I believed in God, and I also followed the rituals and customs, like whatever my family did, and I followed them. And when I became a teenager, when I was going through my teenage times, like my world was like full of friends and social media. So most of my friends were Hindus, but still, because me, myself, and they were not having any education like related to our dharma, they were not given any education. They were unaware of what their dharma, what Hindu dharma is. So they had this dislike towards their dharma, and that gradually influenced me also. And I slowly started hating Hindu dharma also. And then later, what happened is, as I went school, like as my schooling was going on, some of the Muslims like started giving company to me. They started talking to me, and we got in a company, and we started forming a bond, and which reached to a high friendship. Like we became best friends. And what they did next was they later introduced to me like certain ideologies of Islam. So they didn't talk to me as if they were teaching their religion to me. They only told that many of the things I was doing was wrong according to the ideology, according to the belief they were having. So I was like confused, but because I was not taught, or I haven't heard of certain such things like before. And later they started talking mockingly about various practices that is done in our dharma. So because I was not having any education, because I was not taught about what our dharma is, I could not defend myself. I was answerless. I was helpless. So those were the moments I felt guilty of being born as a Hindu, because the the things they were asking me, I was unable to answer. And even if I'm asking the same questions to my family, my parents, like they were not able to answer me. So they gradually presented Islam to me, because at this point, I was like confused. I didn't know what my dharma is, and I'm hearing a lot of criticisms about this. So I was to a point that, okay, then Hindu dharma might be wrong. And I actually was not a person who was believing in it also. And then later, when they confirmed that I was not a person who is having such a belief, or who is having the knowledge of dharma, they started injecting the ideology of Islam into me gradually. So, because I was not aware of my dharma, I also fell into that trap. And then I began, like day by day, I started feeling disgusted about what Hindu dharma is, because the criticism, the things they say about the Hindu dharma made me feel disgusted about my dharma itself. And at the same time, my Muslim counterparts, they used to speak proudly about their religion also. So I was having this feeling that they know a lot of their lot about their religion, but I'm like helpless, and they are praising their religion a lot. So, and these are the people, I mean, these friends of mine are the people who actually influenced me to Islam. They were the first step for me to enter, to get influenced to Islam. So they gradually said that like dancing, singing are like everything is haram in Islam. They stated that dancing, singing, and all were a form of adultery. So to say in plain words, they said it was a form of, it was equivalent to prostitution, and it is something that should be abandoned. So little by little, they were inculcating in me the ideology of Islam. So I was getting tense, I was getting confused, like these are all new to me. So because of their constant pressure, constant forcing, little by little, I was stopping my interest. I mean, I was stopping myself from all those actions like dancing, which I have been learning for 11 years. I stopped for them. And also singing, everything, because they were insisting me that these are all haram, these are not these were impermissible in their ideology. And also they showed me a lot of fake proofs and etc. So I was like, okay, I leave dancing. I left dancing and music, and I stopped everything. Later I began, I was so afraid to watch a movie, even to listen to a song. Even though if it was unintentional, I felt a lot of guilt inside me when I get to listen to a song, when I hear a song. And also, like it took away from me the freedom to even speak confidently. I was not even able to speak freely, because in Islam, they said that women shouldn't raise their voice. Women are not given the freedom to speak as such. And the blame, the neglect that was part of their brainwashing, which they were acting towards me, like slowly began to affect my mental state, my character, and everything. And my mental state reached to that extent that I have to take counseling sessions to help myself, because I was so broken. Because they were giving this constant pressurizing, constant blame, constant mocking, like everything like pressurized me a lot, and my mental state went so bad. And but still they continued to brainwash me. So I was not having this idea that it was because of them I was getting bad with my mental state, with whatever is happening to me. I was like, okay, it was because I'm doing something wrong. They are saying, showing it to me. So I was guilt. The more feeling I had is of guilt, because I was doing something that is wrong. And because eventually, with the forcing, or with the in as my friends were pursuing me, I decided to become a Muslim, and by reciting the Shahada. And then later they started telling me, like, if you have to follow Islam, and if you have to live as a true Muslim, you have to practice namaz, and that is compulsory. And then I started taking my complete effort, taking my complete time on it. I started learning the namaz, learning other practices, the other dhikr, and everything that is related to Islam, and I started offering namaz secretly at home. And these all incidents were happening when I was in my school days. So I'm obviously at my home, and I have to do it in secret. So gradually, like doing in secret was not an easy task for me, because my family was around. So I have to look all that, and I have to do all these things. So it started to become a burden for me, because it's all new to me, and I have to do in secret also. So as this difficulty for offering namaz I started facing this difficulty, then I started having this feeling in my mind that I want to leave home, I want to stay somewhere else, because my family will of course never support me converting into Hinduism. So I hid it from them, and I started searching for some college or anywhere where I can leave my family and live alone. Also, my family also felt to me as a burden, because according to Islam, according to what they have told me, they became a burden to me. They were all kafirs. They were all someone like the God I was believing back then. I mean, the so called God, that is Allah, who hated my family. So I have to definitely hate my family, and I have to consider them as kafirs, and I need not listen to them. So I started hurting them with words, actions, rejected them, pained them, and also tried to escape home with all these measures, like searching for colleges which is away from my home. And gradually, I found out a college in Kozhikode, and also that was at that time a plus point for me because Kozhikode is a district where Muslim majority is there. So I was like happy to go there, and I got admitted to college there, and I started living the hostel nearby. So then I accomplished the goal to like live away from my family, so that I can follow Islam more easily and uh, more freely. I don't have to be scared of anyone. I don't have to hide anything. And also, the thing is, when I entered the college, and the people around me, that is like mostly Muslims, when they got to know that I'm a convert, they started encouraging me. They started supporting me. I have never seen them supporting some other person, but they were supporting me because I was a convert. And I was feeling that, okay, because I'm a convert, I'm getting this advantage, I'm getting their support. So I moved ahead with them. They started buying me expensive stuff. They started supporting me, gave me mental support. And I also remember an incident when one of my friend was saying to me, because I was so frustrated, I was worried what will happen if I uh, like tell this at home. So she was like, don't worry, if your parents reject you, my gate is open for you. You can come to my home, you can stay there. So I was having that much back support there. So I was so confident, and I stood firm in my belief, and I moved on. So if, when the first day in college itself, because of the freedom, because of whatever they have taught me, I started wearing a hijab. And because of my friends who were around me, because of their influence, because of what they were telling me, what they were teaching me, gradually I started wearing the burqa and later niqab and everything that was Islamically told. And I started covering myself totally, and my appearance, my character, everything changed. I became more arrogant because I was biased to Islam. So whatever I hear against Islam, I started becoming arrogant. I started behaving rude, even to professors at schools, professors at the college. I was like arguing in the name of Islam. And also, for the name of Islam, there have been incidents when I got out of the class. I went out of the class because that the thing happening there was against Islam. It might be music, whatever it is. I did all those steps. And later, my friends insisted me that I can change my name legally because in Islam, my name is not promoted, and I should change my name. So, even though my parents were kafirs to me, even though they were unbelievers at that time, I did had some affection towards them, and I also feared them because they are my parents. They are paying for me, they are looking after me, they have brought me up. So I was having this affection towards them, but Islam was shutting up. Like Islam was literally making me away from them, making me hate them. It was forcefully making me hate them. And that was one of the painful process I have to go through getting into Islam. I have to intentionally break my relationship with of myself and my parents. And because of all my friends were telling me I want to change my name, and because of the fear that if my parents know, it might bring me more trouble, I didn't do that. But I unofficially changed my name to Khadija Sana. That was also advice from my friends. My friends only suggested to me. Then I in my college days I started continued my life as an Islam. I started praying. I continued my prayer like 5 times a day without any fear. Standard the dhikr every time. Like whenever I get time, I standard the dhikr, and I covered myself fully from toes to head, and my eyes were just outside. Only people can see my eyes. So it was such a. I was totally covered in a dark cloth, covered in like I wanted to be an introvert then. Like my friends were like I had an extrovert character actually, but my friends were like, in Islam it's not permissible. You should be an introvert because you're a woman. Because you're a girl, you should be introvert. You should not talk to people unnecessarily. You should not talk to men. And if it um, if it is needed also, you should try your maximum to avoid talking with men. You shouldn't sing, you shouldn't laugh loudly. I was like literally in a cage. I was totally caged, and I was not at all given the freedom at least to talk. So those were some of the dark in times of my life. And as my college days were moving on, my friends started to introduce me the mosque. They started to take me to the mosque. Like every Friday, they used to take me to the mosque. So we will be having kutubah like during the Friday, and there are like Friday sermons that are given in the mosque. So these sermons again influenced me. They instilled in me an intense hatred like other religion and a view that all the non-Muslims are our enemies and all of them, all of their properties, everything should be destroyed, and it is just the Muslims that have to be in this world. They like instilled in me such a hatred that I even started hating my friends, hating everyone who were close to me also. So because I had this thought that the non-Muslims were the people who are forsaken by God, then started taking initiative to even make my friends convert to Islam. So I started trying. I started telling them about Islam. I started telling them about so and such things which my friend used to tell me, so that I can convert them also into Islam. But I was unsuccessful. But it was almost 50% that I was succeeded into making them understand that Islam is also there. Islam is a good ideology. Like from whatever I have told, they had that feeling also, but they were not ready to get converted, or they were not ready to uh, take another religion or convert to another religion. And then, so one day, I was like I was still having this emotional connection with my family. So how much ever I can run away from them, I couldn't like break this bond which Islam was forcing me to do. So I was like, okay, I'll tell to my family so that they can agree to me and they can give me permission to follow Islam. Even though I was not sure they would, but I took the risk and I went home and revealed at home that I wanted to live as a true Muslim without fearing anyone, with your permission. But of course, they couldn't accept it, and everyone was in a shock. Like my mother, my grandmother, grandfather, my father, everyone was broken, even my brother. Like they were so broken that my father had to come from his workplace. That is, he's working abroad, and he had to come from there because he was seen ill. He was found out ill, and his manager himself let him come home because he was so traumatized. He was so shocked, and it affected his mental mental state. So those were some of the days which was so exhausting and which was so traumatizing in my life for my family. So, as my family heard all this, they were so devastated. And in the meantime, as all these issues were going on, in the meantime, I also had this idea to bring my mother also into Islam. So it would be easier for me if they are also brought to Islam. It would be easier because I no more have to convince them about anything. So what I did was I went to my mom. I started talking about Islam. I started um, justifying it. Whatever my mom was saying, I started justifying it. I was trying so hard to bring her to Islam, but I was unsuccessful in that. And but that way she escaped. Then I was trying, like I was having this intention, I was having this thing in my mind that I will convert whomever possible. Like I'll try my best to convert whomever possible, because that is promising certain rewards in Islam. Because as said in Islam, we'll get certain rewards in the heaven and so and so. So I was so motivated, so encouraged by my friends also to convert others to Islam. So and even uh, and all these problems were going on, my grandmother, she cried and held my feet. She was like, don't, please don't do all these things. We don't need any Islam. We can continue in our Sanatana Dharma or Hindu Dharma. Like, please don't go. And she was like begging me, all of my parents, my grandmother, grandfather, even my brother, they were all talking to me, asking me, please don't go, please stay in our dharma itself. There is no need. You were born in this dharma, then what is the need for you to convert? So I started asking them a lot of questions. Even though my grandmother held my feet, I was not at all shaken. I was unmoved by their tears. I was in a firm decision that I'll live my life ahead with Islam only. And at that time, I was convinced that Islam is the only truth, because the brainwashing was to that level that they made me at the utter conviction Like they made me so much convinced with their justifications, with their whitewashing and all. So, and also my parents were unable to tell me, to teach me about Sanatana Dharma also. So they were also helpless. So after learning all this, my father, who was here, who have to come to home because of his mental health condition, he uh, like took an appointment for me with a counselor at my college itself, and she was a Hindu counselor only. So, the thing happened was, she was not trying to take me back to our dharma. What she did was, she was telling me, I know that all the religions are the same, so it is no wrong of what you're doing. You can stay firm in Islam, and she was literally supporting me. She was asking me, don't change your decision, stay firm in Islam, and I'll hide it from your parents. I'll gradually make them convinced. So I was shocked, as like also I was happy because they are supporting me only. And the thing we should understand here is, it is a Hindu woman, because our typical Hindu, we are having this idea that all the religions are the same. So she was insisting me that it's okay because all the religions are the same. There is no difference if you change as a Christian, if you change as a Muslim or a Hindu, whatever it is. So I was happy. I came back home, and but my father was not satisfied with that, and thank God he brought me to aarshavidyasamajam, because I was arguing with them. I was challenging him, like, is there anything you can prove me that is good in Sanatana Dharma? Is there anything which can prove me that Sanatana Dharma is the truth? And I also challenged him that, prove me that Islam is wrong, because I was at that level of conviction. And my father, thank God, he took me to aarshavidyasamajam. So and then from the first day itself, certain sessions at aarshavidyasamajam started happening. So at the first session, in the first session, it was a male teacher who talked to me, but I was sitting without looking at his face, because I was not able. I was not asked. I was not able to look at his face, because in Islam, looking at some other men's face or talking to them was haram, considered haram. So out of fear, I restricted myself to look in his face, because he was talking to me. I was not looking at him, but at least I was listening to him. And from the next day onwards, then later, many lady teachers spoke to me. So, and gradually, from the very first class itself, I began to see cracks in my firm faith of Islam, because they were showing to me clear proofs only. But still, I was not convinced. But I was into the bias side of Islam. I was not listening to them as 100% like with interest. I was like taking something, and I was having some cracks in my belief. But the thing is, the thing which pulled me back from realizing the truth, from understanding what they were saying, from realizing that Sanatana Dharma is true, that is the fear. Because I had lost even the freedom to verify the right and wrong. I was afraid to even think of Allah, because they have taken this basic fundamental freedom each and everyone is having, the freedom to even think against Allah, the freedom to even analyze if something is wrong or right. So that is what pulled me back from accepting or from listening to them. And so after a few days, I got a chance to meet Acharya ji. And at the first sight itself, thing is, I felt a divine spirit emanating from him. And with debates, discussions of Islam with Acharya ji later began. And we were having certain sessions. So he pointed out what happened, the thing, what made me accept Sanatana Dharma, what rescued me from Islam is that whatever he was teaching me, whatever he was telling me, he was pointing out it, everything was pointed out from authentic books of Islam only, like the Quran, the Hadith. And he also showed me the true face of Islam by showing proofs from them only. And he told us what is the true Sanatana Dharma is and what true the Sanatana Dharma is not. He also had clear answers for every questions, which I never got answers from my parents or from anyone I was asking those. And I have to be silent in front of him, because he was having answers, and all those were totally convincing and had evidences and proofs which was authentic only. So I'm thinking like maybe if I hadn't come here, I haven't received my guru's guidance, my life would have perished in that black sack. It is all because of his blessings, his teachings, his guidance. Now I'm talking in front of you like being the most happy person. So he taught me about Sanatana Dharma with evidences, with proofs, which made me a higher sense of higher conviction that it is the truth. And also, he broke Islam with its authentic text only, that is the Quran, the Hadith, and etc. So that is how I got this conviction that Sanatana Dharma is the truth and Islam is absurd ideology which was inhumane, because the verses which was mentioned in Islam is to kill the non-Muslims, to harm them, to harass them, and everything. But at that time, I was able to tolerate that because my friends was whitewashing to me in that sense that I was able to tolerate that. But now, when I started to understand, I started to learn with my common sense, with the intellect that God have given me. I started to understand how dangerous the ideology is. So through the courses like Adhyatmika Shastra, etc., I learned about Sanatana Dharma, and also I understood the need for it to reach the old world, because it's not just me. It's like a lot of people are getting in its trap. So I learned about Sanatana Dharma, and it's important. And because of all those, to surrender myself to his mission, to do whatever is possible in my power to assist him to do whatever possible, I became a full timer at aarshavidyasamajam then. And I then, with the intention of doing something which I'm capable of, like using all my caliber, my talent, everything. I wanted to assist him. I wanted to do something for his mission. So I became a full timer, and that is how I got converted. I got back from Islam to Sanatana Dharma. And it is because of him only that I'm talking in front of you like this. And also with his guidance, with his instruction, his blessing, the dance, which I abandoned because of Islam, I started dancing again. I started singing again only because of his blessings. So that is how I was brought back from Islam to Sanatana Dharma. Thank you.
That is really brave of you, as well as kind of very well articulated. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
We have questions, but we will get back to you after Sri Devi's experience. Then we will go through the Q&A. Sri Devi, welcome, and the mic is yours.
Namaste. I'm Sri Ravishankar from Kozhikode in Kerala. I know very little English, so please excuse me if I make any mistakes. Since my childhood, singing has been my life. I have been singing since I was 4 years old. I have not learned music systematically, but I used to sing at Kalolsavams and Ganamelas. I was born in an ordinary Hindu family. All I knew about Hindu Dharma is going to temples, eating prasadams, going to temple festivals. I was of the view that all religions are the same. I had certain objections and questions about the Hindu Puranas, but I did not bother to explore or learn more about them. I was slowly getting influenced into Islam when I was studying in 9th standard. Most of my classmates and friends were Muslims. It was through them that I was introduced to Islam, through their constant discussion about Islam. Their concepts began to influence me. Later, whenever I thought about God, only the word Allah would come on my tongue. My Muslim classmates gifted me a counter mission, saying I must chant Alhamdulillah and Allahu Akbar whenever I sit idle. The teacher who taught Opana dance, a kind of Muslim dance, advised used to always recite Allah. My friends always send me songs, audios, and videos clips promotion Islam over WhatsApp. At one point, I also had to believe in the plain lie that Aisha was the only wife of Muhammad and he did not have many wives. Colorful images of heaven and scary image of hell had got fixed in my mind. Slowly, I began transforming into the Islamic ways of life. My interest in music had faded. I had only hatred and insult toward Hindu Dharma. I started feeling ashamed to say that I'm a Hindu and became adamant that I would rather die than go to Hindu festivals and temples. I loved acting as much as singing. I have starred in 2 albums. I have dubbed about 2 movies. The feeling that music, dancing, acting, dubbing the are all haram and the guilt that I was pursuing them started disturbing me. Although I was selected for the national level singing competition, I did not participate. I stopped everything. There were even attempts to trap me in the drug racket, narcotic jihad. But I understood all this only later. Without letting my family know, I used to dress up like a Muslim woman. One day my parents found out about all this and problems began. The fights became a daily affair at home. I started arguing and bad-mouthing my parents. Finally, they filed a case. The police, advocates, judge, everyone tried to persuade me to change my decision. But at that time, even thinking of changing my decision was wrong according to me. I was being strictly controlled by the criminal gang associated with leading figures of the film and serial world. When the Hindu organization tried to save me from this gang, the gang members even tried to kill my father, hitting him with a vehicle. They burnt our house at Koilandi. There were several death threats to wipe out my entire family. They filed false cases against my father, fearing attack. We moved to a rented houses. My studies were affected. I had to stop my educations. My brother was traumatized and stopped going to school. My father, who was already suffering from multiple ailments, was completely exhausted. He developed
लो ये क्या चल रहा है
mental problems. Even after seeing all this before my eyes, my mind has become unchangingly cruel. The brainwashing that was done to me was so deep. My parents, relatives, and various Hindu organization workers tried in various ways to changing my mind. When I did not heed their advice, my family went to see some workers. They performed some pujas and home saying, I have been affected by evil spirits. I was taken to many prominent ashrams, but none of their advice could even move me. Could even move me. This one, 25th January 2023, I reached the aarshavidyasamajam in Thiruvananthapuram with the overconfident that no one will ever be able to change me. My helpless mother said, we know that no one can change you, but this is our last attempt. We don't want to regret in future that we didn't try this. When I came to AVS, I was determined that would not change come what may. But since I started attending the classes on Adhyatmika Shastram by Acharya Sri K.R. Manuji, I started sensing that there is something wrong in whatever I have understood so far. The logically structured classes with clear evidence opened my eyes. When I realized that all the criticism raised by my Muslim friends and classmates about Hindu Dharma were based on unauthentic Puranas were come about in recent times, I realized how terrible their propaganda against Hindu Dharma is. When I read the authentic books of Islam, the colorful description of the Prophet and love of Islam fell apart. He had the term Sanatana Dharma for the first time only after coming into Aarshavidyasamajam. I started learning what real Sanatana Dharma is. I had the courage to proudly say I am a Hindu before anyone. I understood that the work of avious which guide people who go astray due to various brainwashing practice is need of the hour. I also become a part of it, become a member of the avious pageant troupe. I started singing again. I started dancing wholeheartedly and learning both music and dance systematically at avious. My parents got their happy days back. Their relatives were relieved, and all those involved in my case were full satisfaction. But I did not want any other girls or boys have ill experience that I had. I am determined that no other family should go through the tears my family shared. I informed Acharyaji in October 2023 that I want to work with aarshavidyasamajam full-time as best I can while pursuing my studies parallelly online. It was a joyous moment for my life. They considered this as the rebirth and niyoga of their daughter, whom, whom they thought they would never get back. So I hope you have understood how essential the courses and activities of Aarshavidya Samajam are. Let's fight together against all the brainwashing and existing to today society. I end my words here by inviting all you or you all to be part of the activities of Aarshavidya Samajam. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Sridevi.
Yes.
It's not very easy to actually share the experience. The one thing that we feel bad about is you have to go through it again while you are telling us.
Yes.
But for the sake of people who, for educating them, you need to share this. But it's a painful experience, I understand. Vidyaji.
Absolutely. I mean, it is. I'm just thinking, sitting here, listening to them, it was so difficult. I can imagine what they must have gone through, their families must have gone through. It must have been the most traumatic experiences, any human being has to go through. But I'm so glad that you all are back into the fold of Sanatana Dharma. So for that, there is a lot of gratitude, and so grateful to all three of you for taking such a stance, for coming forward, for being so courageous to share your stories. We are hoping that material like this will go viral, so that people get to know the truth and that they stay safe. We need to keep girls and boys safe. So thank you so much, Anukhaji, Srilakshmiji, and Sridevi. It has been a fabulous session. Ravishankarji, over to you.
Yes. I believe actually we can, if everybody can actually turn on the cameras, that would be great.
Yeah.
We can go through the Q&A as well. Rahul, once he's back, actually, he will turn on the hand raising and we'll take some questions. We have noted a few questions. I guess, Vidyaji, you can go first.
Okay. So now I think my first question I shall put it to Anaghaji. You are talking about the challenges that our society has been facing. So you mentioned you have given your experiences. So what according to you would be the challenges of our society because of which these conversion tactics happen? If you could just, few words, few sentences, you can elaborate on that. That would be lovely. Go ahead, Anagaji.
Actually, aarshavidyasamajam believes that there are 6 major types of anti-human brainwashing influencing our people right from their childhood in various ways. And this is the root cause for all the problems. These 6 types of brainwashing powers. I will explain it one by one. First one is the internal threats. That the first evil influence is the degenerate ideologies of subversives, which develop much later, and the internal problems that weaken the society and are against the concept of our Sri Parameshwara, Aarsha Guru Paramparas, and the life principles of Sanatana Dharma. The external ideologies that distort philosophies, histories, and all, and impose their dangerous doctrines. And the second brainwashing power is the Christian conversion strategies. Third one is the tactics of Islamic conversion and recruitment into terrorist organization. Fourth brainwashing power is the pseudo-secularism, religious appeasement, vote bank politics, brainwashing by the political parties. And the fifth one is the Macaulayism, that is the anti-nationalist mindset imposed by the British in the past and still practiced by some people today. And the sixth one is some isms, that is atheism, rationalism, materialism, agnosticism, skepticism, hedonism, worldism, anarchism, etc. and etc. And our people, right from their childhood, is being affected by any of these 6 types of brainwashing. And here we are not only going to discuss about the problems, right? We are not to worry all of you by saying all our problems and all our experiences. We are coming up with a solution. We have to discuss the solution also, right? So, aarshavidyasamajam is the only movement that has put forward an ideological, spiritual, psychological counseling system to protect society from all these threats. I would like to say a few words about Aarshavidyasamajam. Aarshavidyasamajam is a spiritual and educational movement established by Acharya Sri K.R. Manojji on 8th July 1999 for the scientific and systematic fulfillment of Pancha Mahakartavyas of Sanatana Dharma, that is, the Adhyayana, systematic study, Anushtana, which means practice, Pracharana, which means promotion, Adhyapana, which means teaching, and Samrakshana, which means protection. This organization was born with the Anugraha and Ashirvad of the great Gurus to fulfill the mission Krindvanto Vishwamaryam, that is, to make the humans and the world noble through Sanatana Dharma. This is the instruction of Sri Parameshwara, the vision of Aarsha Guru Paramparas, the dream of our ancestors and prayer of our martyrs, and the birth purpose of the nation itself. We, Aarshavidyasamajam, strongly believe that the problems we all face today are due to the ignorance we shown towards the Panchakartavyas of Sanatana Dharma. So our Aarshavidyasamajam's foremost goal is to promote its unmatched courses such as Adhyatmika Shastram, Shivashakti Yoga Vidya, Bharatiya Samskriti, Students Excellence Program, Sudarshanam, Mrityunjayam, Vyayamaki Vijnan, Sankhatana Shastra, which is offered at various levels. The course Adhyatmika Shastram, Bharatiya Samskriti, and Students Excellence Program are provided online also. And in Adhyatmika Shastram course, we teach the Sanatana Dharma from the basic terminology itself. And also it includes a comparative study of religions And next course is the Bharatiya Samskriti course, which teaches the cultural heritage of Bharat and the freedom struggles, Renaissance history, and such things. And third one is the Yoga Vidya course. Next is the Students Excellence Program, which is for students. And next is the Sudarshana, which is the main and what should we say, most attractive course of Aarsha Vidyasamajam, because Sudarshana incorporates a Tarkashastra approach based on the Swadhyaya tradition. It is a de-brainwashing, anti-indoctrination, de-radicalization counseling system, and a comprehensive problem-solving program designed to fight against 6 types of brainwashing powers prevalent in the world today. So if anybody want to know more about this Sudarshana mission, I will give more explanation. So Vidyaji asked that what are the problems faced by the society today and how can we solve it, right? So now the problem is with the ideologies, not some particular human beings. They do such kind of cruel things because the ideology fed into their brain. So if we have to eradicate all those problems, we have to fight with these ideologies. And through proper education and awareness programs only, we can remove all these things. This is what I have to say about your question. Thank you, Vidyaji.
Thank you, Anagaji. Ravishankar, over to you.
Yeah. We have some audience questions. Chandu, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
Can I? Yeah, thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate all these 3 brave ladies for their brave decision, and I'm aware that it's not quite easy to take and implement in your life, which made your life better as well as your families. Congratulations once again for that. So I would like to validate some of my understanding, and with your experience, I'm sure that you will be able to do that. So in such instances where children being brainwashed by their friends or colleagues, whoever it is, and to a point when they were ready to express their intention to their families, I understand they will be pre-conditioned by their friends. What are the expected relations, what reactions from the family, and how to counter them, and how to react to them, and why is it necessary? All that things will be preconditioned to you people. Am I right in understanding that?
Anyone can take that question?
Yeah, sure. We all are getting a precondition or pre-training before we present it before before our parents. Most of them say that the parents will cry before us, and they will even say that they will commit suicide. So you guys don't have to worry. This all thing is for Allah. Even if they commit suicide, you must take it as part of your strong or firm faith. So you don't have to worry. And we all are getting this type of training or pre-conditioning before we express these things before our family. You are absolutely right.
Sorry, my intention of asking this question was basically, for it was not for it was basically for the parents who are sitting here, because I believe that every Hindu family or a non-Muslim family is vulnerable to such things. So once you happen to face such things, be calm. Don't act on your emotions, because they are being trained very clearly how to resist on those ones. This is the normal behavior. Like your mother will cry, your father will get angry, and they all threaten that we'll commit suicide. All that things, they're telling from their heart. But please remember, this is not going to have any effect on them. They are completely brainwashed. So be calm, think wisely, and try to convince them or get help from people like AVS. That's what my intention of asking this question. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandu. Sneha.
Thank you so much for organizing this, and really brave ladies who have actually educated all of us. My question is, what is the first step that we have to do if we come across such a case, like our friend or our neighbor? I'm from Bangalore. We don't have any institute like this in here. How do we approach this problem? Because we will, as friends, we will get the initial signs. How do we approach? Is there any helpline that we can contact, or how do we contact any other organizations, sister organizations that you're working in Bangalore?
Actually, now we are working mainly in Kerala, but we took cases from all over the world. And when you get a small hint that a person is studying the religion or he is going to convert, first step you should do is to contact aarshavidyasamajam. The numbers you can get it from the website, and you can contact them, and as soon as possible please bring them to Aarsha Vidyasamajam. And not only that, this thing is not concise to Aarsha Vidyasamajam workers only. Anybody who attend our courses will gain the capability to bring anyone back to Sanatana Dharma. So our website ID is www.aarshaworld.org, and you can get every details and contact numbers there. We started, we got a center in Bangalore by God's grace and Guru's blessings. But we have not started activities there, but surely we will start conducting classes and all. So we will contact you.
Thanks, madam. Thanks a lot. One more question is regarding this black magic, which I have heard, because I know a friend who has actually been subjected to a black magic from a mosque, and she has been visiting to the mosque a couple of times. So is it true that this black magic and all, they do this black magic and all? Because I am not into all these things. So just wanted to, is that one way of trapping girls?
Actually, not black magic or any kinds of stuff. It's only through brainwashing. They are ideologically brainwashing us and trapping. There are many ways of conversion. That is like love jihad, narcotic jihad, intellectual jihad, or indoctrination jihad, land jihad, job jihad, film jihad, etc. and etc. There are almost 20-25 types of brainwashing strategies. Conversion strategies. But at the end, they hold a person strong in the religion using this brainwashing or ideological indoctrination. There is no such black magic and all. It's only through ideological brainwashing.
Ideological.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sneha.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I would like to say, to further to what Sneha had asked, do aarshavidyasamajam go to places and try to meet people, those who are in such situations? For example, let's say Bangalore. If they can't bring their daughter or someone to Kerala, is it possible to visit them?
See, they take so many years to brainwash them and bring into such a mindset. So it is not at all possible for us to bring them back just with some of the counseling sitting only. I hope you understand, because there are many psychological factors to bring them from their that mindset. First of all, they must be willing to listen to us in their place, or after our session, if they go back and meet their old friends and the same circumstances, they will be again brainwashed to that ideology. So it will be more productive if they are able to come here. We are having accommodation facilities and all. So it will be more productive if they are able to come, bring them here. And in this spiritual atmosphere, they have to study what is Islam and what is Sanatana Dharma. Then only they can feel the difference, and by comparing the experiences by themselves, and then only it is a gradual process. It is not just a process that can be resolved just by one sitting. I hope you understand.
Understood. Understood.
We are but
What you're trying to say is that
planning.
they have
Yeah.
gone through this indoctrination for many years, and it takes several sessions to actually bring
Yeah.
them back properly, and it requires a proper setting and a nice place to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, and one more thing, we are not restricted to Kerala only. We are planning to travel all over the world. Wherever centers we get, we are ready to stay there in a month for about 10 to 15 days and counsel or take classes, courses, camps everywhere according to our time facility.
Absolutely. I hope actually you'll be able to open actually your centers all over India, not just
Thank you
limited to
so much.
Bangalore, but everywhere.
We will sure.
Okay.
Surely.
Yeah. I'll go to Kumar next. Kumar, go ahead.
Good morning. It's actually really great to see such a session going on Clubhouse. And I would like to. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So thank you, Anagaji, and thank you, Rahul, Ravishankar ji, and Vidya ji, everyone for taking an initiative to make us all aware. I have a question. It's not only a question, but it's also a concern. I mean, I have actually, noticed, I've been a close follower of the initiatives and the activities of AVS. I mean, I came to know about this through Venugopal. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know Venugopal ji. So that's how I came into contact. My question is, see, have you ever observed any pattern, like, people who are being converted? Is there a specific pattern, like before they, convert to Islam? Like, is there a precursor to this, process of conversion? And is it always coercive, or, are there any other tactics? Like, and why are we not that effective in terms of, preventing our own people from, doing these things? Like, I have read that stories, like, of women which aarshavidyasamajam published, like the Parivartane Kade, and that girl from Kasargod, Shruti, right? So it's all very evident, like we have people who are actually backstabbing us. So what's the modus of operandi? That is also a doubt. So
Very clear.
Thank you.
Anyone can take the question. Sri Lakshmi, Sri Devi, Manaka, anyone.
Okay, Namaste, Didi. I get your question. So, Islam, the people of Islam use a varieties of strategies to radicalize people. So, but there have been analyzed like a general steps. There are certain general steps which have been followed by everyone. So, I'll explain to you like step by step. Okay. So, the first stage is like it happens like for most in the most of the cases. Like it is building a good relationship through their behavior and becoming close to them. It can be either friendship or any kind of relationship. So they'll have this base there. So that is the first step they always do. And so, and the next, and as they get closer, they get to the second stage. And the second stage is about asking questions. So the questions, the second stage, they involves into intentionally creating questions to ask, and it would be in a thoughtful manner. And the speciality of these questions are, these questions will encourage us to or build a interest in ourselves to learn about it. So they like ask confusing questions. So we have to understand the importance of questions are used to create confusion within us. And also like a society where we are not taught about our own dharma. And also these questions roots us to the problems That is our weakness of not knowing, of not have learned, or not having any sources to learn. I mean, sources within our reach to learn about our own dharma. So that is the second stage. They'll trigger us with certain questions. And the third stage is like they criticize. They criticize us and they ridicule us. So in this stage, there is an attempt to criticize or mock our dharma. It can be our dharma, our God, the avatars, our gurus, Mahatmas, culture, our society, and also even our Bharat. So they criticize us. Another Hindu organization also. They create a sense of disdain within us. And we will start growing an inferiority complex when they are around us because we don't know anything and they are constantly criticizing us. And next, what we do is because we are helpless, we don't have any answers, and they are asking us constant questions, they're criticizing us. What we do is we try to act as if we are one of them because we don't have any part of ourselves. So we act as one of them and we also start to degrade our own dharma or our own ideology. And the next is the fourth stage. The fourth stage is comparison. So after they have introduced, after they have been asking questions, after they have criticized us, then they will introduce their ideology, and that is through a comparison. So that is called comparison and convert. So in this stage, they put forth distorted lies to whitewash their religion and win followers. So they deceive others into believing that doubts have been resolved through peculiar justifications. And they'll state that Hindu Dharma is an absurd ideology and state whatever absurdities about Hindu Dharma and make us hate, build in us a hatred towards our own dharma. And also this, as it goes, this also creates within us a slant towards their ideology. In the one side, we'll be hating our own dharma. The other side, we'll have a slant towards their ideology. And when they feel that we are okay, we are troubled, we are okay away from Hindu dharma, we have left Hindu dharma, then the fifth stage is brainwashing. So they will introduce you, they will encourage you to watch speeches, read books, and other means by which we can get to know Islam or their ideology more. They will introduce to us speeches of scholars and many things, and they will also facilitate all these things to us because we have to grow in their ideology. And this is the fourth stage. So they also guide people towards various courses like classes, camps, where expert indoctrination creates narratives in religion, philosophy, history, and current issues. So, like connecting with my experience, that is why my friends were taking me to the mosque, and they also introduced me many scholars. They used to frequently send me videos of scholars and many other steps. These scholars used distorted lies to whitewash their own ideology, so that I may get attracted towards them. So this is the fifth stage of brainwashing, and they will also encourage us to participate in other courses that can be residential, and also we will be taken to many conversion centers and also be motivated to convert, and also to convert our parents, our family, and friends. So they will teach us more about their religion through their courses, to such and such activities. They will make us involved into their activities. And the next step, if they find us, like among those 100 people who are getting trained, there would be a few, at least 10 of them, who would be interested in what they are showing you. So they'll target these people, and they will be taken for the conversion process. They will be encouraged to convert. So that is their sixth stage. That is keeping together all the people who are found to be interested in what they are teaching. And also that is when the Islam radicalization starts and the missionary work starts. And they also create the fear of hell and the promise of the reward, which we are like said, which we will get in the heaven, so that we will be loyal to the ideology also. So they will make us firm in what we are made to believe in. And the seventh stage is these converts are then again made to go through certain trainings, and these trainings include like teaching them certain questions which will be asked from the other religions, like so as to answer them and clarify them. And also will be taught the problems which other religions are having, the criticisms which we can raise against the other religion. We will be also thought about the current issues that the ideology is facing biased on Islam. So that we, in every sense, we are firm and we are having the complete knowledge, complete talent to clarify others' doubt. Even it is a whitewashing or whatever it is, we will be made a professional person to argue or to criticize or to convert other people also. And the next stage is connecting. So as we are getting converted to Islam, in order to make our Islamic connection more stronger, or in order to trap us, to literally to say it's trapping us into that religion, many connections, I mean, through relationship ties to other business companies, and also like recruiting us into certain companies, giving us financial support, and such ways are used so that we get connected with their ideology. And the mostly used are the marriage ties. So they will propose us like people from their own society, so that we will stay in the Islamic society only. That our partner is also of that religion, so we'll stay in their society only. And then is the ninth stage. So in the ninth stage, it's like more. There are madrasas, Sunday schools, like more in other ideologies. All these things are from childhood onwards. The children are being taught. So they are born and brought up with this ideology being taught and with this ideology being injected in their heads. So they are like trained into this missionary. So I would like to, rather than saying this as a conversion strategy, I would like to say that we are bought into a system where after we are getting converted, the future generation gets also trapped in that system. The future generation is trained and the society around is trained. Like in Islam, I mean, the community either would be having part-time workers, or they would be having full-time workers, or it might be supporters. So they are like covered into that system. And it's not just a conversion strategy. We are put into that system. So that is the important point we have to understand. And that is one of the crucial point we should be aware of. Because once a person is converted, the people around them, the people coming in the coming generation, are also in the verge of such a danger. And the next is, we can say, after that, these people are taken into other processes, like they might be trained as a jihadis, or they might be trained for other purposes. And we have this common thought that it's just love jihad happening in our society. But the thing is, love jihad is just one of the many strategies they are using to convert people. There are a lot of strategies, such as population jihad, narcotic jihad, and so on. There are a lot of strategies. Love jihad is just a part. In the case of love jihad, it becomes easier for them because they don't have to like bring forth a marriage tie, because they are already tied up. They are already into this ideology. And in love jihad also, even though it's the basis is a relationship, and in one point they will inject the indoctrination process. The ideology would be injected in any of the points. So that is what happens in all of the conversion strategy. Whatever it is, let it be population jihad, whatever it is, at one of the point, this indoctrination is taking place. So that is how we are like brought. I mean, generally we are brought. That is that are the strategies followed by them to bring us, to trap us into the system, into the society, into the Muslim society, and we are used to be recruited as like jihadis or in ISIS or whatever it is. That is how we are trapped.
Sure.
Can
Thank
I
you for
add
explaining it.
one more thing? Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
Kumarji asked before that how to be aware of that Christian conversion strategies, right? Kumarji, just because we discussed here about the strategies of Islamic conversion and radicalization, please don't think that we are fighting only against this Islamic radicalization. Aarshavidyasamajam is bravely fighting against these. I already told about the 6 brainwashing strategies, right? We are bravely, boldly fighting against all this without any compromises. We are leading a ideological war, and through this, we are being able to bring back more than 8,000 men and women who were affected by these 6 kinds of brainwashing. And Aarshavidyasamajam always says that if one is Pudana, then the other is Tadaka. That means we can easily recognize Tadaka because she comes expressing all her evil qualities. That is, it is like Islam. And Pudana, we can't easily recognize her because she masks and comes as like with a motherly love, motherly passion.
Disguises herself as a mother. So
Yeah. So we are both we are aware of the dangers of both these Semitic religions, and we are bravely fighting against all these ideologies.
Absolutely. Before going into the next two questioners in the audience, I will pass it on to Vidya ji first.
You can hear me now, no, Ravi? I'm clear? Okay. So this question anyone can answer. Anakaji, we have seen, some stories, we've heard stories of, so many girls especially, being carted off to Syria, and they have been through all these stages of conversion. Are there anybody in AVS who have come back from Syria, or at least, gone on to that stage of being passed on, becoming an ISIS member, and then they have come back? Has there been any history on that?
Really, we all were in such a mindset that we were ready to do anything for the Islam. That is to make the Darul Harb to Darul Islam. That is Islamic world. We were all in such a mindset. We were ready to die for Allah. But by God's grace, Guru's blessing, it's because of aarshavidyasamajam, there is less number of ISIS or such kinds of stories. It's because we were brought to Aarshavidyasamajam at the right time, and so.
Okay. No, the reason why I asked is this is, again, it's not, we have seen, most of them would have seen the movie, the Kerala story. So in that we see the main character, Shalini Unnikrishnan, she reaches ISIS, and from there she comes back alive. I mean, she's the only one who comes back alive. That way, has there been any characters? Has there been any person, who has actually gone that far and then made it back safely to AVS? You don't have to, specifically mention any person's name, but in case there is somebody like that, any kind of, such kind of, survivor stories, that would be really nice to know.
Actually, in the film, it is shown that she is not escaping from, she is just realizing. In that film, it is showing that she is realizing, but she is still in the jail itself. She can't come from there. And we all know that it resembles the Nimisha Fatima's stories from Kerala. And we all know that she is still in the jail. Latest videos released through the channels, etc., reveal how still she is in that mindset. So actually, Aarshavidyasamajam does not have personal any experiences who have been to ISIS or other terrorist organizations and came back. But some of the students who came to Aarshavidyasamajam, that is from, I think, from London and all, when their WhatsApp and email chat were checked by parents, they were chatting with some Pakistani friends, their Pakistani friends, and the chat was like this: that why that the guy who came here was chatting to his Pakistani friend and asking him why you are not coming to India to attack India. Why you are not demolishing the temples and all? Why you are keeping all these things? Why you are not coming? So just think, if he was not able to come to Aarshavidyasamajam, maybe we will have another more story. like Nimisha Fatima or Sonia Sebastian or Mariam or Bexon or Bestin. Yeah, there is Isa or Yahya. We will have one more story. But before that, his parents could trace him, and he was brought to the that type of mindset, and he was
He was
drawing
getting
the
doomed
logo
for
of
kind of.
logo of ISIS and Taliban and all. He was in such a mindset. So that means they will have some connections, right?
So basically, because of aarshavidyasamajam, we've not allowed any of the persons to go reach right up till there. Before they could go anywhere near Syria, everyone's been brought back safely. So for that,
Actually, we are trying our maximum, but as an institution, we have so many limitations to accommodate this much, because we Aarsha Samajam workers are receiving at least 10 to 15 calls a day.
wow.
On the other side will be the crying parents, and they don't know where to go with their son
Where to start?
or daughter.
Where to get
Yeah.
help from?
How?
That is,
Yeah.
it's so traumatic because for you all are reliving that experience again and again every single day. I don't know how you all do it. It's but absolutely remarkable.
Thank you.
Ravishankar,
Thank you so
over
much.
to you.
All right. I have a few questions, but actually I will finish the audience first. Lakshmi Madam, go ahead.
Namaste to all of you. Awesome session, Ravishankar ji. Thank you for organizing this. Thank you, Vidya. And namaste to the girls, brave girls of Aarsha Samajam. You guys are doing an awesome job. Thank you so much. Three things that stand out from all your experiences is what, as a grandmother, if I have to tell my grandchildren, is keep away from friends, specifically from a particular community, because these girls act as pimp. Am I correct?
We not only through friends, even social media chat rooms, even they may be not seeing them. It's not a must that the friends sitting near our children will convert. It's not a must. But each and every social media platforms, everywhere, these powers are strong, and they have a system. However, we try to have a strong system to convert our children to their brainwashing ideology.
Okay, thank you. And can we say that
So,
our drawback, the maximum drawback for Hindus, is we do not have a Shatrubodham, which others have. Like they have been taught that this is bad, so don't go near it. We don't teach. That's why the person, one of you were saying, right? Your counselor said, okay, even though she's a Hindu lady, she said, it's fine. You can stick to this because all religions are same. This nonsensical statement that has been taught to us right from childhood is actually making a lot of issues, because we don't have a sense of defense mechanism when somebody comes and imposes things on us, or comes and tells us that, oh, you know what, you are bad and you need to be reformed. If they can't accept you as what you are, then what is the point of them coming to you? Who are they to come and reform you? That sort of a defense mechanism does not come in us because we are not being taught. Do you think this is something that, even if the parents may not understand what is, say, Sanatana Dharma or the different equities of it or the beauty of it, but at least to tell them that they are perfect in whatever way they are, and there is no reason for them to convert to something else to be a better person. So this is something, at least this basic fundamental, if it is taught. I mean, I'm surprised because usually communist jihadis, they have a very good network, but communists usually have this confidence and still they are the first one to convert. Like if you see every aspect of it, it is mostly the communist and the liberal attitude people who go and fall for this, rather than people who come from rigid religious mentality, because they have been taught something and they have a custom, they have a spiritual path, and that is why it is very difficult for them to actually deviate from there. So do you think this is the lack of that understanding that actually causes this damage within the Hindus maximum? Because you see, maximum conversions happen for the Hindus, it's not anybody else. You see the example of grooming gangs in Britain. There the girls were very tender, they were like 11, 12, and there was a different modus operandi overall there. But here it is usually adult, it's in the form of a love jihad, where the girl actually fights against the parents to move out into a system. So this is like multitude of things. Of course, our societies are different, but how do you base this? How do you understand this, that why in Kerala society alone this is such a curse? Thank you.
You are absolutely true. And we are not at all blaming other forces or powers. The root cause of the problem lies within us only. We Hindus are not at all providing our children or ourselves the proper dharmic education. What is the real Sanatana Dharma is or what it is not. And also we are not at all training our students or children about the other religions or what is said in other religions, our nation's real history, and also what all things are happening in this current life or current affairs. We are not at all teaching our children about all these things. We are simply saying that you go to such and such schools or colleges and study well and get a good job and make your life settled. That is the only goal for the Hindu, most of the Hindu parents. And another thing, what you said is absolutely right, that every normal Hindu have the thought that all the religions are same. I have to ask whether they even have read any of the religious books. Only after studying about all those things, we have to come to a conclusion. This thinking that all religions are same is only for Hindus. Muslims and Christians never say that all the religions are same. And one more thing, through my personal experience, I must say, I have to add one more thing. From childhood itself, our parents train us to go temples every day. And we were having pujas in our home itself. Just our home is like our home's puja room was like just like a temple. And my grandfather and father was doing puja regularly there. And we all, three of us, were reciting Nama Japa every day in the evening. And also we were by-heartedly know the Vishnu Sahasranama and all. So just by practicing some mere cultures or customs, customs and rituals, or following some practices, it's not at all sufficient to hold someone in Sanatana Dharma. We must know what is Sanatana Dharma, who gave it, for whom, what is the purpose of it, what is the content in it, how to practice it, everything step by step we have to teach our children. And also one more thing, we should be able to give answers to all the questions, doubts, criticisms asked by today's generation about Sanatana Dharma. Then only we can make them realize or recognize the beauty of Sanatana Dharma and the utility of Sanatana Dharma.
Absolutely clear.
Thank you very
Thank you, Lakshmi Madam. I'll go to the last audience question, then we will wrap it up with the moderator questions. Rajagopal.
Yeah, I have. Thank you very much, aarshavidyasamajam, for organizing this nice session. And thank you, Rahul ji and Ravishankar ji. My question about this is not specifically on the teaching of Sanatana Dharma to children, but seeing that there is a lot of incidents in Kerala, I have a question here that is the working of parents, especially the father, in a Gulf country, or a large number of Kerala people are working in the Gulf, or maybe outside the country. Are the children lacking parental attention and the parental guidance, other than only putting them in a good school, maybe assuming that it is a good school, maybe a convent school where the only religious teaching is done from other communities, or schools where there are where you can afford to pay a good fee, but the children studying there are not really the ones who believe in dharma. So is this one problem? And also the children are exposed because of the parents are working in the Gulf countries. They are always exposed to various Islamic traditions and Islamic cultures, like doing roza, they were doing fasting for 30 days, etc., etc. And they keep on talking about it in their homes. And the children are also getting exposed to that children through our own people. Can you answer this?
There are chances of children from those families to be brainwashed, but we can't say that only those kinds of children are going, but the students who came to Aarsha Vidyasamajam are from well-settled family, and they have a high bond with their parents, and those children are also actually targeted by this brainwashing forces. So we can't generalize or come to conclusion that this is maybe this will be a possibility. I am not saying that there are no chances. There may be a possibility, but all kinds of children, educated, good looking, family bonded, every type are targeted by these powers.
All right. Thank you, Anagaji.
Thank you.
Rajagopal.
Thank you very much.
Yes, when I see about the drug gangs, when drug busts and all those things happen, I see that the men are from a particular community and the lady will be a Hindu or a Christian that we usually see. Not the case where everybody is from the same community, you understand? It's usually the lady who is from a Hindu or a Christian. How does that work? Why is it like that?
Actually, narcotic jihad is another way of their conversion strategy, and through drugs, they usually they are targeting the young generation and make them addict to those things, and to get those drugs, they will do whatever these gangs say, and obviously they are choosing non-Muslim girls for this narcotic jihad mission, because they know through girls they have to increase their population, right? So they never choose their girls. They only target non-Muslim girls. Actually, it is their secret strategy itself to distract all the girls and boys in the non-Muslim community.
All right. Vidya, actually, I know that actually you have a question. I'll come to you. I have a few, and you can give short answers, Anikaji, if you like it like that. I have heard that if there is a payout, you will be paid if you convert somebody into Islam. I have heard from many people that there is a system of paying the person who is initiating that conversion and getting them converted. Once that happened, especially when a Muslim boy marries a Hindu girl or something like that, there will be a payout. Is that true?
Some of the Islamic organizations themselves had released a document that if you convert a Brahmin girl, they will get these lakhs. If you convert a Nair girl, this, such that they themselves released such documents, and they are training the young people in their community to how to target girls, how to make love with them, and everything. Whatever steps we told from our experiences, we have made it, Ajaraji had made it step by step, and from they follow this pattern, and they are getting proper training, and also they are getting some increments and all for all these activities. This is not said by us. They themselves have released this type of documents. All the proofs are with us, and that's it.
I am asking because actually you may have a lot of experience by the people that are coming to AVS, right? That's why I'm asking to confirm them. We are seeing in social media, we are seeing in various things, but you will have first-hand experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that I usually see in case of love jihad and all those cases is it will be the loved by somebody, but the marriage will be by somebody else. We are noticing it in many cases. And can you explain on that?
They are training in such a way that we will see this in the Kerala story. She was loved by someone, and at the conversion center, till conversion, he pretend as her lover. And once they are realizing that this girl is strong in the Islamic faith, that nobody could change her, then this guy slowly leaves and he will go to the next girl. But to make sure that this girl will stay strong in the Islam and to use this girl for the Islamic terrorist activities, these conversion centers take initiation to make her marry with like-minded peoples. So there are many examples that a boy is loving and brainwashing her and bringing her to conversion centers. And from there, he leaves, and then another boy who the conversion center decides will marry her. There are so many examples.
Yes, I have noticed as I'm following different cases, I have noticed this. I know these are random questions, but I'm asking this out of the things that I have read, and you will have a first-hand experience. That's the reason for asking. Probably in the coming sessions, actually, some of them we can explain a bit better. And also, Sri Lakshmi is also here. If you like to answer some of them, take it. I mean, there is no issues with us. Another thing, either of you, I mean, like Anikaji as well as Sri Lakshmi ji, both of you mentioned actually your friends encouraged you to take up Islam. There were the primary factor in your case the motivation factor, the attraction, and everything come from them. Do you think there are specific grooming gangs like this lady or women or men grooming gangs like this for encouraging the friends and whomever they know to get converted? Do you think actually it's a planned effort?
In our case, we don't think that it was a planned effort, but when a Muslim child or Christian child is born, from childhood onwards, they are getting religious education, right? And those religions teach their children that converting someone to their religion or bringing someone to their religion is the most holiest thing they can do. So from childhood onwards, a missionary is growing inside the child. So whenever they get chances, they try to spread their ideology. This does not mean that there are no planned efforts and all or training and all. We are, in our cases, we don't think that all this was a planned effort, but for sure, there are trainings and planned efforts are being happening in the society. But in our case, but the thing is that each and every single individual or each and every Muslim themselves act as a missionary to spread their religion. That is the thing.
Absolutely. So Lakshmi, do you have anything to add?
As Anagaji said, in my case also, it was not a planned thing. Like my friends who were like taught from childhood about the religion and the rewards they would get, like if they convert a person, only encouraged them. And I don't know what happened to them now, like what are they doing now, but their movements, like each and every step they were taking to convert me, to change my name, and everything was like a strategic. There was a planning behind the group. Because in my incident, as I moved to college in Kozhikode, there was a friend who used to support me a lot. Like there was also a gang of friends behind her, but she used to support me. She used to buy me a lot of things. She used to like encourage me. Like she used to empower me. Like whatever difficulties you are going through, whatever you are going through, you are doing it for Allah. You're doing it for Him. You will get the reward, and we are all with you. They will give us the constant support. And what happened was, after I revealed it to home, and after my father had taken me to Aarsha Vidyasamajam, I got the news that she has left the college. She left the college back to her home place, Qatar. So the thing is, her intention was to convert me, and she knows like the problems that she is going to face. But she is like, if she is going to convert me, if she is doing everything to convert me, she'll get the reward. So it's because of what is injected inside them. It's because of that cravings for the reward they are getting in the heaven, and the fear of what they are going to experience in the hell, which is making them, or which is encouraging them to do this. So that is what happened in my case.
Generally, when people get converted to Islam, and once actually they have realized the mistake, probably by the efforts of AVS, and when they want to come back to Hinduism, what are the problems they generally would face when they are trying to get back to Hinduism? Sridevi ji mentioned actually the problems she had faced. In your experience in general, when people are coming back to Hinduism, what are the hurdles they have to face by them as well as their family?
To be frank, while coming back to Hinduism after these years of brainwashing, personally, they will be in a trauma. You can understand, because they did all these things believing that this was the right thing, and for this thing they made all these nuisances and all. So personally and emotionally, they will be in a little trauma. And once I don't want to blame all the Hindu society, but still, when we had experiences like when a student realizes her mistake or her or his mistake and embraces Sanatana Dharma and who was willing to work for Sanatana Dharma. Sometimes her parents or family members may restrict, saying that this is not our goal. We have to get a good job and you have to be settled. So I am not blaming the whole Hindu society because we do not know what is the importance of studying and preaching Sanatana Dharma, and they don't know what is the proper utility of Sanatana Dharma, and they also don't know what the dangers of other ideologies. So they just simply think that it is some rare cases, 1 or 2 cases that affected their children. So they are not knowing what the actual problem is. So most of our workers had faced some of the difficulties in life, but later our parents realized that what our children and the community is also now accepting the truth that what work we are doing is the best and it is the need of the hour.
Now, I have 2 questions for all 3 of you. This is actually, I wrote it down actually as I was listening to your experiences. Simple question. It's not actually, there is no prepared answer for this. It's all up to your own personal experience. So we can go through that one by one. And then Vidyaji has a question. Then we will have the song and before we can conclude. Okay. So the first thing that I would like to ask is, you all said you have been secretly practicing the religion, Islam, before coming to AVS, right? So I thought actually, now, did anybody notice in between? Because you might be going to temple, you might be attending marriage functions, you might be having family get-togethers, and so all those things were happening. How it was not noticed by anybody that actually, you are not here? In Hinduism, but there is some radicalization going on with you. Did anybody notice?
In my case, my parents have doubt that why I am not performing Nama Japa and all, but they didn't think that I will go to such an extent of conversion at all. And also in Hinduism, there are no strict rules and regulations, right? If you want to go to temple, you can. If you don't want, then you don't have to. It's a wish of individual, and there are no forceful things in it, right? So in my case, my parents and sisters all were knowing that I'm studying about Islam, and when they came to know that I'm performing all these things, but they couldn't change my decision because the questions I asked to them, they couldn't answer any of them. So how can they bring me back? What should they say to bring me back? That is the case in my story.
All right. Sri Lakshmi, should I repeat the question?
No. Understood. So, and coming to my case, at the initial time when I was influenced to Islam, I was at my home. So obviously my parents are with me, my brother, and everyone is with me. So the problem I have to go through is I have to hide it from them. So even though in Islam, like the clothing, the hijab, everything was enforced in Islam, my friends was like whitewashing it to me again. They were like making it softer on me. They were like, okay, it's okay, Allah can understand, but do whatever is possible. So I gradually, because of the hatred towards Hinduism which they have created, I stopped putting bindi, and like I changed my clothing style as such. From totally changed my clothing style. So obviously my parents were noticing all the changes that I have been going through. So my parents were asking me certain questions. They were having some doubts, but I guess like in their dreams, they would never be able to imagine me getting influenced to Islam, because so the clue wasn't there. But they were asking me like, why have you changed a lot? What are you doing this? But gradually my friends like started forcing me again and again, like, okay, you can do this, you can do that. Like they were forcing me step by step. They were making me like critical or more mm, more dangerous in the religious ideology. They started telling me about more as they started like criticizing Hinduism. That hatred started like getting more into me. So whenever we have a family discussion or whatever it is, I used to put forth that hatred or started asking questions of the Hindu dharma and so and so. So these questions used to trouble my family, because also they are not taught about it. They have learned it from their ancestors, from their mother, their father, and all. So they are not having that evidence answer with the evidence of why we are doing so and so in the dharma. So they were like, okay, we have learned it from the family, we have learned it from the ancestors, so we are doing this. So for me, that was again a plus point, because I was like, okay, so I am convinced that there is nothing in Sanatana Dharma. So I can move on with the ideology of Islam. So what I did was hiding my interest behind. I started putting forward certain ideologies which I considered would be attracting them. So I started like silently started to influence my parents. I used to like debate with them. I used to introduce them the oneness of God. There is just one God. So I indirectly started putting the ideology into them, but they were not understanding, but they were supporting. And that is how I got the confidence that when went to college, I was like, okay, so they know something about Islam which I have told them before, so they would be accepting this like at least a 40 to 30 percentage. So I already did that indoctrination in my parents also. And my clothing, my talking, and everything, my conversation, my character, everything have changed by that time. So my cousins, my uncles, my aunt, everyone have like already noticed them. So they also used to ask questions, but I never used to tell anything towards them. If they come with any argument, I used to argue. I stopped going to temples, and I used to argue with my family. But they were like having a doubt, like gradually had a doubt, because they found me talking with Muslim friends mostly. I started abandoning all of my Hindu friends. So they were seeing this change in me. So they were asking questions, but I was not responding. But out of trust, they didn't do much, because they were having this trust with me, and I was arguing at them, and they were answerless. So they kept silently, and but they haven't thought that I am going to this ideology. Might be thinking that I'm against the religions. I'm doing this as my will. But and because I was in home, I have to go through all this. My friends also made it soft to me, because they know one day I'm going to leave home. I'm going to Kozhikode, I'm going to college. So they made it softer to me, so that I don't get away from Islam. Because even praying the namaz thing was so much suffering for me. I have to hide it from my parents, and if I didn't do that, it's another frustration. So it's a frustration above frustration. Like it's a tragic life. You don't get any peace, you don't get anything, you don't get a happy moment or a peaceful moment. You'll always be thinking, okay, when can I do my namaz, when can I do this? Like it's a complete frustration. So they were like lazy, making it a lease for me by that time. And after I went to college, okay, then I am free. So that is why from the first day onwards, I started wearing the hijab, because I'm free. So my friends have insisted me that whenever you get a chance, you should follow. And that is when my Islamic belief or my Islamic commitment, it increased. It became intense. And that is how it moved on. As my parents were not with me, it became easy for me, and they stopped the doubt, and I was talking, like acting to them as I'm normal now. And when I used to come home for like for 2 to 3 days, my friends used to tell me, don't hurt them, be quiet. Because once we can tell them, but be quiet, because they wanted to teach me more. They don't wanted to lose me in between. So that is why they continued this process. They faked Islam to me and told me it's a soft, it's a mild religion. Allah is all knowing. Allah will, okay, for Allah it would be okay. They used to fake up all this and tell me all these stories. and they moved smooth with me. And once I was at the peak of this commitment towards Islam, then they were like introducing me some more harmful verses or some more harmful like advices, and that is my entire character changed, and more I started arguing more with my parents. I started hating them, and they take it step by step. They know what our situation is, they inject whatever is needed, and step by step they take us. And when the level reaches that we will do anything for Islam, we'll do anything for Allah, they'll take it to the next level, that is jihad and that sort of things. That's what happened to me. But before going to all these steps, my father, with God's grace and with Acharyaji's blessings, I got back to my dharma through aarshavidyasamajam by Acharyaji. That's what happened for me.
Thank you, Lakshmi, for sharing that.
എൻ്റെ വീട്ടിലെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാല് എൻ്റെ വീട്ടിലും നൈബേഴ്സായിട്ടും കൂടുതലും മുസ്ലിംസ് തന്നെയാണ് ഉള്ളത്. എല്ലാവരും ഒരുപോലെ എന്നുള്ള കൺസെപ്റ്റാണ് വീട്ടിലുണ്ടായിരുന്നത്. പിന്നെ ഞാനും ഒരു 9th സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് ഒക്കെ കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പം തട്ടയിട്ട് നടക്കുകയും പൊട്ട് തൊടാതെയൊക്കെ നടക്കുകയായിരുന്നു. വീട്ടിൽ അത്ര പ്രശ്നമൊന്നും ഉണ്ടായില്ല. പിന്നെ പർദ്ദയിലേക്ക് മാറിയതും കൂടുതൽ ഇസ്ലാം പഠിക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങിയതൊക്കെ വീട്ടിലറിയാതെ ഇല്ല. സ്കൂളിൽ പോകുമ്പം യൂണിഫോം ഇട്ടിട്ടായിരിക്കും വീട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് ഇറങ്ങുക. അതിനുശേഷം പിന്നെ പർദ്ദയിലേക്ക് മാറുകയൊക്കെ ആയിരുന്നു ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നത്. ഒക്കെ സീക്രട്ട് ആയിട്ട് തന്നെയാ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. വീട്ടിൽ അറിയില്ലായിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ വീട്ടിലുള്ള അച്ഛൻ്റെ കുറച്ച് ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് ഒക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായത്, പർദ്ദയിട്ട് നടക്കുന്നതും കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ അറിഞ്ഞിട്ട്. ശേഷം വീട്ടിൽ അറിഞ്ഞു, പിന്നെ നേരിട്ട് ABSലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവന്നു.
അതിൽ അറിയാമായിരുന്നു, കുറച്ചുപേരൊക്കെ എങ്കിലും നോട്ടീസ് ഒക്കെ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു ഇങ്ങനെ ചെറിയ വ്യത്യാസങ്ങൾ വരുന്നത്. കേട്ടോ? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കുറച്ചുപേരെങ്കിലും ഒക്കെ നോട്ടീസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു ചെറിയ ചെറിയ വ്യത്യാസങ്ങൾ കാണുന്നത്, പക്ഷെ അത്ര സീരിയസ് ആയിട്ട് എടുത്തില്ല എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത് അല്ലെ?
ഫസ്റ്റ് ടൈം സീരിയസ് ആയിട്ട് എടുത്തിട്ടില്ല. പിന്നെ കുറെ മാറ്റം വന്ന് കൈവിട്ട് പോകുന്നു മനസ്സിലായപ്പോഴാണ് അവര് കൗൺസിലിംഗ് ഇങ്ങനൊക്കെ കൊണ്ടുപോകാൻ തുടങ്ങിയത്.
Subha madam is there in the speaker panel. Subha madam, do you have a question?
Actually, I don't have a question, but I would like to compliment and congratulate the girls in the AVS. I have visited the ashram in Balaramapuram, and I'm doing translation work for them. And that is when I came to know about what a good work they are doing. Actually, I would like to say that Hindus in Kerala, we seem to have lost the demographic battle. Pardon me if I seem like a little bit pessimistic on that account, because in almost 4 to 5 districts, we are completely outnumbered. So, and even though in my district, we are not outnumbered, but when I look into the future, I see that all my daughter's friends are either Christians or Muslims. And most of them, they come off from very well-off families. And like in Akhila Hadia's case, our children start thinking, what benefit does it get you staying on in this community or this religion? Look at them, they have better chances in life. So how have we brought this on ourselves? That is the question that we ask most. And introspection, I find that Sanatana Dharma communities on a large scale have brought this on ourselves. A lot of history is involved. Our ancestors actually promoted conversions, and now we are paying the price for it. And another thing, I must say that I'm impressed with many of the girls in AVS, because a lot of efforts were made to get them married. But unlike Nimisha Fatima, all these girls were strong in their stance that they will not get married to Muslims. So once married, the courts will support only the husband's family, and they will be lost to their own families. So that is one point that these girls deserve an applause. And
thank you, Subha madam. Thank you for giving your feedback. Thank you so much. We'll go to the question from...
I would like to add that I was interested in inner engineering. and I was going in that course. And when I approached AVS, I find that they have a system that prepares you for life. There are different steps of upasana and sadhana that they teach you. And Acharya actually puts across 1 week challenges that are doable. And these are verifiable with results. Whatever you start doing, they are verifiable with results. I was not able to continue at AVS because my daughter is going through a lot of problems at college, and I had to rent an apartment and move her from the hostel. So I could not complete my course there. But even with my brief stay and starting a simple step such as the gratitude practice, my life has taken a turn for the better, and I'm seeing positive results. So that is what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubha Madam, for sharing your own personal interests also, experiences also. Vidya ji, your last question, then we can have a song from Sridevi ji.
Sridevi ji. Okay, so my question is to all three of you. I'll ask both in Malayalam and English. You had mentioned that you had the first set of sessions with Acharya ji, and like how until that point of time you all were so rooted in Islam that you were willing to go and conquer the world. You wanted the entire world to become Islamic. So what were the first set of answers, or the first set of what was it, the very first 2-3 you can give it as 2-3 sentences. What was the answer from Acharya ji that got you all to start getting convinced that yes, that you all are in the wrong line and that you all need to come back to Sanatana Dharma? So I would like each of you to give me an answer, and of course you can speak in Malayalam also. Sridevi ji, please don't restrict yourself. So go ahead. Maragaji.
We are coming to aarshavidyasamajam with an antagonist mindset against Sanatana Dharma, right? So, in the first session, you can't say a single word about Sanatana Dharma because our brain is filled full with those Islamic ideology. So, in my case, in the first session with Acharya ji, that was about 3.5 hours session. And Acharya ji said all things from its basic principles. That is Islam's basic principles, that is the 5 pillars of Islam and the 6 Iman beliefs. Starting from there, and the contradictions in Quran, the unscientific facts in Quran, and how cruel Muhammad was, Prophet Muhammad was. And he said all things. He was not simply saying all these things. He showed me the proofs from the Quran and Hadiths. Till then, I blindly believed that those were God's words. And whenever I was studying Islam, whenever I asked any doubts to my friends, they shut me up, saying that you should not question Allah. It is the Iblis or Shaitan that is influencing you and asking you to ask this, trying to ask these questions. Okay, so don't fell in his hands, that is Shaitan's hands. You should not question anything in Quran and Allah and about Allah. So at that time itself, the freedom of thinking that door was shut before me. So I just blindly believe that this book is God's words, and whatever written in this book is perfect and it is the truth. So when we are reading in that mindset, we will say that, oh, Allah will do what He likes, right? So after coming to aarshavidyasamajam, Acharya ji told that, I already mentioned, you use your intellect and reasoning power, logic, and just read all these things and say whether these are God's words or not. And our discussion went on like this. And I started thinking by getting out of that frame of Islam. And the debate went on. And for that, in that day, Ajaraji only talked about Islam only, because we have to remove all the dirt in our mind. Then only we can feed it with a good and vibrant ideology, right? So first, the thing Ajaraji did was cleaning my mind, clearing my thought, and showing me what is the real darshan of God. By showing if there is a God, he will not be like this, right? He showed me and proved me that Islam is wrong. Then only through the Adhyatmika Shastram course and some online and live sessions, I could come back to Sanatana Dharma.
Lovely. Sri Lakshmi ji, what would you like to share with us?
Okay, so as Anagaji said, we came all in that mindset with the scare, with the fear of Allah, with the fear of hell. So we are taken off our rights to at least think about, think against Islam itself. So I have been I have attended classes like before Ajaraji's session, but I had this fear like, can I think about Islam? Is it wrong? Would I be put in hell? So this thoughts and this fear keeps haunting me. So, but after I got an opportunity to talk to Ajaraji, he was completely talking about Islam only. He talked about Islam, its concepts and everything. The thing he told me that, as Anagaji said only, use your intellect which God have given to you. And your thinking, your understanding shouldn't be biased to something. Because my friends have injected in me the concept of Islam. And I blindly believed it. Then only I started learning about it. I didn't learn about it using my intellect at first. I blindly believed it, and the next step was only learning about it. So I was blind. I didn't knew the ideology with using my intellect. It was like out of blindness. So Ajayraji clarified all that. He talked to me about the Islam and everything. He told me that you should have commitment towards truth. It's not towards some ideology or anything. The commitment should be solely towards the truth. So it is from him I got the confidence to at least think against Islam. I mean, think about the truth. And after having getting that confidence, the things were easy. It is that barrier, the fear of hell, the fear of Allah. It is that barrier which was pulling me back from understanding the truth. So he pulled away that barrier from me. He gave me confidence, and he talked me about Islam. He with authentic proofs only from the Quran, from the Hadith. He showed me proofs. He talked about Islam, and he clarified all my doubts which I was having against Sanatana Dharma, which was another point which encouraged me to quit Islam and accept Sanatana Dharma. In the initial stage, I was not interested to Sanatana Dharma, but after quitting Islam, after putting away Islam, it was easier for me because in my mind, these things were injected. And as Anagaji said, as it was cleaned, like my mind was okay, and the mind is free to accept the truth. And later on, with his classes, with his Adhyatmika Shastra classes and other courses, I was able to intake the real concept of God, the real Sanatana Dharma. And that is how I was escaped from the dangerous ideology of Islam. And it is him only who escaped me from all this. Thank
you. Did you feel a sense of relief? You've removed a kind of a weight from your head. Did you feel free after you came out of Islam?
Exactly. Like in Islam, we may not understand it, but we are in continuous forcement, continuous frustration. We have the frustration to the namaz, the fear of Allah. We are not at all free. But only after you come to Sanatana Dharma, only after you learn the original Sanatana Dharma, the concept of Sanatana Dharma, you can understand what freedom is. Back then, for me, it was injected to me, this is how you should be, this is how this should be, and it was already injected, it was conditioned there. But only after I came back, I could understand the true freedom of what what the true freedom is. It is only after I learned Sanatana Dharma from Acharyaji, I got to understand the feeling of true freedom. And then only I understood how much sufferings and how much things I have been going through when I was in Islam. So only you understand what true freedom is, you will understand what you have been going through. That is what happened to me.
Can I add one more thing? When Sri
ahead.
Lakshmi came to aarshavidyasamajam, she was really an introvert, and her parents told that she is a good dancer. But we asked her, I personally talked to her, and I told that you should dance, okay? She said, no, I'm not that much dancer and all. I don't like to dance and all. But after Acharyaji told that please try dancing, and once she started dancing, she's continuing. She's walking like dancing. She's not stopping it. Once she started that much, what she was, her emotions, feelings, her talent,
You are
skills, abilities
suppressing
was
so much
suppressed.
emotions inside her.
Yes, everything was suppressed, and we will make fun of her that she was like a spring, because how much we suppress it, it will lose that much.
Yeah, it has come out with such a force that she hasn't
Yeah.
stopped dancing ever since.
Yes, all that talent has to come out. You can't suppress. I can completely understand.
Ravishankar I would like to vouch what Anagaji said. I happened to see her dancing once. I felt really angry on, her sister for stopping her from dancing, because I'm not a best judge to judge her dancing skills, but I can see that she is doing it from her heart. I really felt that how could she stop her sister from doing dancing? Really felt angry on Anagaji on that time. But anyway, she danced really well actually.
Thank you, Chandu. Sridevi
Sridevi, go ahead.
ഞാൻ ആർഷവിദ്യ സമാജത്തിലെത്തി. ഒരു 2 ദിവസം കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ തന്നെ 5 ദിവസത്തെ ക്യാമ്പ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു ആചാര്യജിയുടെ. ആ ക്യാമ്പിൽ എന്ന് വെച്ചാല് സനാതന ധർമ്മത്തിന്റെ ബേസിക് തൊട്ട് പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ മതതാരതമ്യ പഠനവും ഉണ്ട്. ഞാൻ ശരിക്കും ഇവിടെ മതം പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സ്ഥലമാണെന്ന് ഞാൻ അറിയില്ലായിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ ജനറൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ക്ലാസ് ആയതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ എനിക്കൊരു ഈഗോ പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. പിന്നെ ഡെയിലി ക്ലാസ്സസും കുറെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ടായി. അങ്ങനെയാണ് കൂടുതൽ എന്താണ് സനാതന ധർമ്മം എന്ന് മനസ്സിലായതും പിന്നെ ഇസ്ലാം എത്ര എത്ര പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ട് അതിൽ നിന്ന് മനസ്സിലായതും. പിന്നെ ഞാൻ കുറെ കൗൺസിലിംഗ് സെന്ററിൽ പോയിട്ടുണ്ട് ഈ പ്രശ്നമായിട്ട്. പക്ഷെ അവിടെ എന്ന് വെച്ചാല് ഇസ്ലാമിനെ കുറിച്ച് ഒരിക്കലും സംസാരിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. എനിക്കാണെങ്കിൽ ഇസ്ലാം തന്നെ കേൾക്കണം എന്നായിരുന്നു. ആചാര്യജിയുടെ അടുത്ത് സംസാരിച്ചപ്പോൾ ഖുറാൻ തന്നെ വെച്ചിട്ടായിരുന്നു പഠിപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നത്. എന്താണോ അതിനകത്ത് പറയുന്നത് അത് തന്നെ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു. അങ്ങനെയാണ് എന്താണെന്ന് കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് മനസ്സിലായത്. പിന്നെ പാട്ട് പാടാനും എല്ലാം തുടങ്ങിയത്. ശ്രീലക്ഷ്മി ഡാൻസ് കളിക്കാനൊക്കെ തുടങ്ങിയ പോലെ തന്നെ ആ സമയത്ത് തന്നെ ഞാൻ പാട്ട് പാടാനും തുടങ്ങിയത്.
അപ്പൊ ഒന്ന് നമുക്ക് ഇവിടെ ഒരു പാട്ടാവാലോ അല്ലെ?
Of course, of course.
Appa, please go ahead, Sridevi ji. We are really waiting to hear you sing. The stage is yours.
ഇതൊരു ഈശ്വര പ്രാർത്ഥനയാണ്. ചന്ദ്രശേഖരായ നമോ ഗംഗാധരായ നമോ ചന്ദ്രശേഖരായ നമോ ഗംഗാധരായ നമോ ലിംഗേശ്വരായ നമോ ശശിശേഖരായ നമോ ലിംഗേശ്വരായ നമോ ശശിശേഖരായ നമോ ഓം നമഃ ശിവായ ശിവ ഓം നമഃ ശിവായ Jai Shankaraya Namo, Jai Vishwaraya Namo, Vande Pashunapadim, Vande Jagagurum, Vande Pashunapadim, Vande Jagagurum, Vande Paratparam, Vande Parameshwaram, Vande Paratparam, Vande Parameshwaram, Hara Vande Parameshwaram.
It was very heartfelt.
Absolutely beautiful. My
Thank you.
God, how could you stop singing, Sridevi ji? എന്തൊരു ഭംഗിയുള്ള എൻ്റെ അമ്മ എനിക്ക് വാക്കുകളില്ല. It's so beautiful. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
I'm not saying much because I have tears in my eyes. So
Yeah, I know. Same here. Same here. It would have been a terrible loss if you had stopped singing and you had not come back. So grateful for this opportunity.
we will conclude here. It was an amazing
Possibly.
session. I know going through all those experiences may not have been very easy, but thank you for doing it. And it would help the others not to fall into such traps and being strong.
Absolutely.
And I have to tell you, all three of you may look like very humble people, but I understand you guys are extremely brave, and you're doing a very brave work also. Not many people may have intended to go into such lengths in fighting against radicalization and things like that. So there is no words to comment how important your work are, and all our community is indebted to all of you. I have to say that. And in our subsequent sessions, actually, we will cover some of the things. I wrote a few more things, but we already have overextended our time. Probably Malayalam is a better medium to communicate also, probably. The next session, we will do it like that. And once again, we are indebted to your service. And we are amazed by how strong and brave all of you are.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Every single one.
Ravishankar ji and Vidya ji, for giving us these opportunities. And we have to say that whatever compliments you have given to us, all those deserve to our Acharya ji, because he molds us to be like this. He, what to say, he made us what we are today. So everything we surrender to his feet, and till the last breath, we aarshavidyasamajam workers will be with Acharya ji's mission, and for the whole world itself. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope the session was useful.
It was
Thank you so much.
brilliant, mind-blowing session, Anagaji.
Thank you so much.
And we wish all the success with the AVS in their efforts.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
The
much.
Hindu communities is dependent on your success, I guess.
Yes. And we
So
pray
thank you very
that
much for
you
being
have
with us.
you should have a branch like this in every state if possible.
Yeah, sure.
More powers coming together, more forces coming together. So we wish you all.
I'll get in touch in terms of how to access courses and all that. I'll try to share in my groups and everywhere.
Okay, thank you.
So we will see again in our
Sure.
next session. So thank you very much. You all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the very best.
Thank you.